Hey everyone, it's me, Lizette, with Hotel Industry Talk. I have the amazing Heather Condeluci here, and I'm so excited to connect with her. She's going to talk to us all about hotel things. Welcome, Heather, and thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So we're going to start off with a fire session of authentic questions. And
Okay.
I'll start with your favorite destination. Where do you love to go? Where's that, either here or around the world?
Yeah, so that's a good one. That's kind of a loaded question for me. We are a busy family of four. We've got two little ones, and we've kind of like instilled adventure in them from a very
Mhm.
like young age. And as chaotic and hectic as our day to day is, anytime we leave this house for an extended period of time, even if it's a weekend, it's good, right? We're
Yep.
really good travelers. So I can't just say everywhere, but truly I get very excited. Like I'm like, oh, we're gonna go stay at a hotel
Yeah.
for a night because I just know it's gonna be good, right? But we got our little guys for Christmas passports. And so I grew up on the Northeast, right? So we went to like Myrtle Beach
Oh,
every year, which I have
yeah.
amazing memories of. But like I would
Oh,
always wonder, like, what is it like to put my feet in the water and like see them? Because I mean,
yeah.
Myrtle Beach is not the clearest, right? And so
Yeah.
I finally got myself there in my late 20s. And so we are taking our kiddos to Jamaica, which is one of our favorite places. My husband and I
Wow.
love to go there. So we're taking them there in a month. And so I'm just so excited that we get to kind of
Yeah.
like see it through their eyes. And I'm guessing that it's easily going to become probably one of my favorite destinations, right? Just because it's their first
Yeah.
time. So yeah, I'm
Oh
excited.
my gosh, that's exciting. Oh my God. Now, I'm gonna preface with this question, and of course, you're gonna be a checked bag for Jamaica. But
Mhm.
when you're traveling on business, do you usually check or do you do carry on?
Oh my gosh, I'm a carry-on all day,
Are
every
you?
day. I am like, I travel a lot in my role, right? And it's
Yeah.
a lot of Tuesday through Thursday things. And so I've got it like down to a science. Like I know what time I need to be at the
Oh
airport.
my God. Yeah.
I know what time I need to be at my gate. Like I just don't have time for anything that could potentially miss it. And then whenever I get off that plane, like get me to my destination. Like I'm not patient. I
Yeah.
don't want to wait. So I like jam everything in. And anyone who's traveled with me, my colleagues, everyone knows I always forget something. So like I don't really have an essential because I think when
Yeah.
I'm like leaving the house, I'm just like, is everyone else gonna survive for the
Right.
next like 48 hours? So they have all got their essentials, and I just truly have like kind of
Yeah.
whatever like leftover toothpaste and
Oh my gosh,
shampoos in my
that's
hair from the week
good.
before, right? So yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh,
I
I
am the
love
worst
that.
of the worst.
That's so funny. Now, do you have like pre-check, like TSA pre-check, or
Uh-huh. Yeah,
see?
and clear. Yeah.
It's so good. I haven't got TSA pre-check or clear, and I travel all the time. I'm crazy. I get to the airport 2 hours before. I'm one of those people. I'm so bizarre.
No, my travel, like, I mean, it gives people anxiety
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh, my
yeah.
flight leaves in 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, I would be freaking out. I'd be like, "Let's go."
Yeah, I
That's
know.
so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, so like music wise, what is like your song that's on repeat? It could be like whether you're traveling or even today. Like, what do you normally listen to all the time?
Yeah, so I found this station called Three Little Birds Radio, and it's like really cool
Oh,
mix of like a little bit of Bob Marley, a little bit of Jack Johnson, a little bit of like Teddy
yeah.
Swims. I'm definitely on that Teddy Swims bandwagon right now. So I don't really
Uh,
have like a favorite, I guess, song that I'm listening to. It's
yeah.
kind of more of that a vibe, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of like that
Yeah.
mellow, like yeah, yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's so good. Now, what have you recently learned that you want to share with people?
What have I recently learned that
Yeah.
I want to share with people? I learned something really cool from someone who I admire and I work with here, my vice president. And it's not something that I don't think he intentionally taught me, but he reacts with every request with, I'm just here to help. I'm just here to help. I'm
Mm,
just here. It's not
yeah.
about my title. It's not, and he doesn't say
Mhm.
it, but this is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's, someone on property asking him for something that, maybe or an owner or whatever,
Mm,
I'm just here to help. And I thought,
yeah.
wow, I really like that perspective, especially from someone who is kind of in a senior leadership role, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's everything. Nothing ruffles his feathers. Like, I'm just here to help. So
Yeah.
I've been
I
kind of
love
like
that.
taking that internally and trying to do the same because sometimes I'm like,
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's a perfect segue into like what you do. So what is your current role in the industry? How long have you been in the industry and how did you get to where you are today?
oh boy. Okay. So
I know.
So we'll start kind of from so where I sit right now, I'm a senior regional director of sales for Arc Hospitality, which means that I kind of oversee sales efforts, right? Top line revenue for a portfolio of hotels. I act as a liaison between the on-property teams and my direct reports, and then owners, and so I support. I'm just here to help, right? But how I got here is a pretty funny story. So I was a teacher in my past life. I moved back. I lived in New York City, and I moved back to Pittsburgh. Something I said I would never do. I met a man and fell in love. Again, something I said I would never do. And just was kind of looking to settle down, right? And I couldn't find a job here in teaching. And this is going to age me a little bit, but I responded to an ad on Craigslist for
so good.
a Hampton Inn to run Facebook. And I was like, oh, I got this. I got it. Like, I'm in. I am the Facebook person. So I had an interview with someone who's still very close to me, who just took a crazy chance on me, right? I mean, I had no hopes. I didn't even know. I knew nothing. I just knew Facebook. And she brought me in, and my second day, we shared a teeny tiny little office. Most people in sales do. Anyone who's in the industry knows this. So she turned around and she was like, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go open a brand new hotel and you're going to be fine. I was like,
so I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, what is a rooming list? I know Facebook, right? I'm going to do a post and like it. Yeah.
It's so good.
But I had an incredible general manager who's I'm still friends with today, and just one thing led to another, and here I am.
Wow, that is incredible. Like I can't even, I love that. I feel like it's crazy because a lot of people recently, I was in front of a lot of people and they asked like, how many just stumbled upon the hotel industry? And I feel like that's a perfect example of how we just kind of get in this weird position and then look at, you're here. And it's so bizarre, but I love it so much. I feel like the industry chooses people. It really does a good job at choosing people. Yeah. So good. 100%. Now, you're a leader. You lead a lot of people in your space. Tell us about some qualities you think your sales leader should have to be successful.
So we really need to be, the industry's changed so much, right? Just proactive and creative. There's no bad idea. I always say we're in hotels, not hospitals. Like if we have a bad idea, okay, we just learn from it and move on, right? I think to be kind of aggressive, right? And I always say you have to really have I hate to use the word like thick skin, but at the end of the day, like just logical. No one's ever going to tell me that they have enough money. No one. Right. That's my job. Right. I'm in sales, right? Yeah. So we have good moments, but we don't have good, then it's like, okay, do more. Right. And so you kind of really have to embrace that and share those good moments with, your colleagues and the me's of the world, but the above me's of the world, they just want more money. Right. And that's fair. That's valid. Right. Yeah. So I think that's really, and it's interesting I'm noticing now that people that just find this industry and just found it are phenomenal because they do have that just like creative outside of the box, like I'm going to do anything attitude. So resilience for sure. All the way. I mean, this is crazy good. Oh, I love that. Thanks so much for sharing that. And then as far as a piece of advice that you would give somebody who's like entering into a sales role or even in the industry, what is something you would give them outside of what qualities they should have? Yeah, I was actually just asked this. I was chatting with another friend, and honestly, when my director of sales, the very first one at the Hampton Inn, turned around and said, "You're going to be just fine," she followed that with, "Here's my number, use it," and I do, and I did, right? Yeah. And so when you have people that want to help you, right? If they're sitting with you or at another property or somebody that you met at a conference, and they share their number, like that right there is gold. Right? That is gold, and use it. And that I think is one of the coolest things about our industry is that we are all hospitable, right? In our core. Yeah. And so if I'm giving you my number, like, use it. It's not like, oh, I'm just giving it to you because I'm just being polite. Like I genuinely want to help you. And there's so much of that in this industry, right? So much of it. So. Yeah. No, I love that. And thank you. Like, that's why you're here today helping me. It's like, I love this industry so much because as much as I feel like it's hard to ask somebody and whether that be
I don't even know where that comes from, but it's almost like feeling like you're a burden. You don't want to burden someone because you know how valuable time is, right? And you know there's just not enough time in a day. And but I think when you get out of that mindset of no, people genuinely want me to succeed. Like they want to help me. That's when you should just go for it. So I love that advice. Thanks for sharing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was asked also a time
Yeah.
that I felt unsupported, and I had to really
Mm,
stop and think about that because honestly, in this role, I haven't, right? I've had
yeah.
leaders who I've really worked well under, and sometimes it hasn't clicked, right? But I've
Mm,
always spoken up and found that
mm,
support, right? So that's another piece of advice. Like if you're
okay.
feeling unsupported, like you
Yeah.
can own that a little bit too, and speak up and
Mm,
get that support, right? So.
that's so good. Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
what's your favorite thing about your role?
Just that supporting, right?
Yeah.
Supporting, helping,
Yeah.
my teams, I could say now.
Yeah.
I've had several of them and but yeah, it's just really fun to have those conversations and share those wins. And I always say, like, I want you to have my job, right? Because I don't want this job forever. I
Yeah.
want my VP's
Yeah.
job, right? And so I think having the ability to kind of coach, train, and mentor up, and a really good
Mm,
example here at ARC, I had a director of sales who I just knew was ready for that next step. And I got to be the one to bring him on board at ARC. And now he's
mm,
a regional, right? He's my peer now. So
yeah.
that's cool, right? To be
Yeah.
part of someone's journey at that level, it's fun. And that's hands down probably my favorite part of the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love that. It's like you extend your hand out. I always think about like a relay race, the baton, passing the baton. And like, I love that because I always saw that in you. You always brought somebody up with you. And that's what I love and I'm passionate about. It's like, who else can we bring with us? And you being a leader, being able to even see that this person's ready and let me help them get there. Like, that is amazing. And that speaks volumes to the type of person you are. Now, let's see. Let's talk about some challenges. So, raw sellers, there's so many challenges. What is a common challenge, like a common theme that you see in our world? And have you ever thought about like how technology can solve that challenge?
Yeah, so I've put a lot of thought into this recently. Actually, we're working on a really fun project and opening some hotels. And the sales world, as you know, it's very still in terms of like trends and patterns and
Mm-hmm.
data.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not quite where maybe revenue management and operations is in terms of technology, right? It's really hard for
Mm-hmm.
us to quantify and show ROI for what we do. Like we know if we make
Yeah.
more calls, then we'll get more business because we'll be talking to more people and our odds are higher, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
been thinking a lot about how do we take kind of that technology piece and quantify it into ROI for our
Mm-hmm.
owners and how we can kind of look into I'm doing a lot of landing pages, right? And collecting
Mm.
that Google Analytics and looking in
Yeah.
real time. Like if I'm
Yeah.
prospecting a company that's in Texas and I'm not getting any clicks from Texas, like I can pivot in real time now, right? Like I
Mm.
can look at
Yeah.
that and I can say, okay, are we reaching out to the right person? Why aren't they looking? Are
Yeah.
we saying the right things? And I can have that
Yeah.
more direct conversation with the director of sales. And so I'm trying and I'm just starting to dabble in it, but
That's so
it's
good.
really cool, right? Like how can we know how we can use the analytics and the Googles and all of that for kind of that revenue management piece, but
Yeah.
how can I quantify it in my world? So it's been really fun.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky to work with people who are just kind of listening to me and letting me
Yeah.
run with this, right?
That's
Like,
so good.
we don't know this either, Heather, but we
Yeah.
think that you're onto something here, right? So
Yeah.
how technology can help us kind of pivot in real time to make more effective calls, smaller calls, right? The right calls to the right people. That's kind of like what I'm working on.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to hear about it. I'm a big tech nerd. I don't know if that's an appropriate word anymore, but I just love tech. I love data. I love analytics. I love solving problems through that because I feel like you can, especially today. There's so much out there with AI and everything we can make our life so much easier. Do you remember that saying, work smarter, not harder, right? We hear that all the time and we've always heard that. But today I feel like we truly live that now with AI. Like you can use all of the tools you have to be so much more efficient.
Yeah, it's wild and diving into it. It's kind of terrifying. I'm like, well, this is like a lot of data. You know, for example, we can collect data on the people that are visiting our website, like their demographics and their online
Yeah.
behavior and kind of all of that. So we might think that we're targeting the right client, and we're not even, you know, we're seeing the people who are actually coming into our hotels, and we're like totally wrong, right? So
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah, it's cool.
That's good. Exciting stuff. Now, outside of the sales role, do you have, like, in your mind, if you could create a perfect role for you, would it still be sales, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I would always joke, especially when I was living in New York City and thought I was going to be famous, you know, I would always joke, like, I just want to be me and get paid for
Yeah.
it. Unless I'm
Mm-hmm.
here. Like, I'm here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I'm being me and I'm getting paid for it. And so this
That's
is
good.
my perfect role, oddly enough, right? It's weird to
Yeah.
think that, but I always think, I'm like, did I manifest this? Like, did I?
Mm.
Because in my day
Yeah.
to day, I'm me, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that gave me the chills, Heather. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that's so good. It's so inspirational because I think a lot of people are on their own journey to try to figure out what that is, right? And it's beautiful when you find it. And it's like, okay, hold on to it. And of course, you can always evolve and develop and grow, but knowing that you can just be your most authentic self. And that's, you are truly like one of the most authentic people I know. And I love that. I love that so much. You're welcome. Um, Now this is our last question. I really don't want to end this. I'm like, what else can I
Oh,
ask
please.
you? Because you're so full of wisdom. But is there anything else you could leave hoteliers out there, especially like the future, thinking about the next generation of people? What is that? What is a message you want to leave them?
Yeah, it's a really amazing world in hospitality, right? Backgrounds don't matter,
Hmm.
degrees don't necessarily
Hmm.
matter.
Hmm.
You know, it's just kind of that big heart and that willingness to learn and find mentors. And I say mentors, right? Because you're going to find
Hmm.
pieces of things from different people that you speak with, but use that and
Hmm.
become your own, right? Figure out how you
Yeah.
can use that and be yourself and get paid for it. And whether you go kind of into an operations or revenue or sales, there's really kind of a home for such a
Yeah.
multitude of personalities, right? Like you can be
Yeah.
I always say, like, the revenue manager, like introvert,
Hmm.
don't talk to me, Heather, the crazy salesperson, the
Yeah.
like analytical problem solver, general
Hmm.
manager, right? Operations. There's really a home for everyone.
Mm.
And I love it. It's just a place like you and I talk, like people fall into
Yeah.
it, backgrounds
Yeah.
don't matter, you know. It's just
Yeah.
it's a really fun space to be. So I guess my overarching message to anyone kind of wanting to come in is, don't be afraid to, like I've been saying, don't be afraid to ask questions, don't be afraid to learn, don't be afraid to
Hmm.
push yourself out of your comfort zone,
Hmm.
and just find good mentors.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
so good. Thank you so much for being here, for doing this. I'm excited to share this with everybody. I will be sharing Heather's LinkedIn handle. So feel
Yes,
free to
hit me
connect with
up.
her. Yeah. And
Yes,
same, if you guys need anything, after the fact, feel free to reach out. We're here to support you and, give you the resources you need. So thank you again, Heather, for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, take care,
fun.
everybody.